Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you. And it's for Sunday, the 8th day of May, the 7th day of Iyar. Today, we're going to ask a very famous question about Shavuos and give you an answer that you may not be familiar with. Everyone likes to consider Shavuos the holiday of cheesecake. It's not exactly the holiday of cheesecake. Cheesecake is just a very popular dairy food, and there is a custom to eat dairy foods on Shavuos. The question is why? And here's a very interesting reason based on a statement from the Ramah, and it is this. The special sacrifice of the holiday of Shavuos was the Shtei Halechem. This is quite unusual. Having two special loaves of bread being the sacrifice of the holiday is something that you do not find at the holiday of Pesach or Sukkot, and it's specific to Shavuos. Two loaves of bread are the sacrifice of the holiday of Shavuos. Very unusual in our religion, but that's what we do on Shavuos. Maybe we'll discuss that when we get closer to Shavuos. But you see, whenever a Jew eats a loaf of bread at a meal, that loaf of bread, if it's at a fleishik meal, for example, you can only eat that remainder of that loaf of bread at a fleishik meal afterwards, because we just feel that since that loaf of bread was on the table when you were having fleishik, so it would only really be appropriate for you to continue eating that one loaf of bread if you would consider at the next meal having fleishik again. Your loaf was at a fleishik table. If you want to have another fleishik meal, you can have that same loaf, but you're going to have a fleishik meal, because one loaf that was a fleishik meal, we would want you to finish that loaf at a following meal, which is also fleishiks, because we don't want that bread, which was at a fleishik table, to then be used at a milchik table. Okay, now that you know that that's the halacha, so you see Shavuos, which is the holiday that has two different loaves, we kind of allude to that by having a meat meal and a dairy meal. If you're going to have on the holiday of Shavuos a meat meal and a dairy meal, you're going to need to have two different loaves, one that could be eaten at the dairy meal and one that could be eaten at the fleishik meal. So do you get it? So this is not me making a funny idea here. This is the Ramah who says this. So on the holiday of the Shtei Halechem, the holiday that has two different loaves, that's a holiday that it suits us to have two different meals, because we have two different loaves being significant, or a central theme on this holiday, so you can celebrate it with having a loaf at a meat meal and a loaf at a dairy meal. Hence the custom to have a dairy meal on the holiday of Shavuos. Hope that sounded understandable. Thanks for logging on. I'll log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.